and opposed to
President Bush.
It's time to start protecting these children. And I'm sorry. I see somebody abusing a child, the cops won't do anything, I'm going to beat your brains out. Okay? So, I mean, I'm not trying to talk tough. People are just putting up with this crap, and I've had enough of it.
Someone's got to protect them. And that's why I really appreciated McKinney when she took Rumsfeld to task, because here are people, they're known buying little children, and they're, you know, government contractors.
But there are troops saving us. Here, let's go to that clip. This is the clip with Cynthia McKinney.
Mr. Secretary, I watched President Bush deliver a moving speech.
This is in Congress 7 years ago.
In September 2003, in which he mentioned the crisis of the sex trade. The president called for the punishment of those involved in this horrible business. But at the very moment of that speech, DynCorp was exposed for having been involved in the buying and selling of young women and children. While all of this was going on, DynCorp kept the Pentagon contract to administer the smallpox and anthrax vaccines.
That killed a bunch of people, too.
And is now working on a plague vaccine through the Joint Vaccine Acquisition Program. Mr. Secretary, is it policy of the U.S. government to reward companies that traffic in women and little girls?
Thank you, Representative. First, the answer to your first question is no, absolutely not. The policy of the United States government is clear, unambiguous, and opposed to the activities that you described. The second question.
Well, how do you explain the fact that DynCorp and its successor companies have received and continue to receive government contracts?
I would have to go and find the facts, but there are laws and rules and regulations with respect to government contracts, and there are times that corporations do things they should not do, in which case they tend to be suspended for some period. There are times then that under the laws and the rules and regulations passed by the Congress and implemented by the executive branch, that corporations can get off of out of the penalty box, if you will, and be permitted to engage in contracts with the government. They're not generally not barred in perpetuity.
This company was never in the penalty box. If you could proceed to my second question, please.
On your first question, I'm advised by Dr. Chu that it was not the corporation that was engaged in the activities you characterized, but I'm told it was an employee of the corporation. And it was some years ago in the Balkans that took place.
It's my understanding that it continues to take place. And
is that right?
Yes.
Is that right?
If you can give me information to that effect.
I'm sure you are interested in all of the information that I have, and I'll be more than happy to provide it to you.
Good, thank you.
But I would also like to get information from you.
Okay.
For example, the information that I just requested.
That's good.
About
the full interview, just type in Cynthia McKinney grills Rumsfeld. It's all over YouTube, but I mean, it's on thousands of articles. BBC, AP, just that company, others, women, children, huge amounts, children that ended up dead, you name it, and then just look how they all act like they don't know anything about it. When that's one of the most profitable things. Leanne, I want to stay on this story and just keep hammering this issue. Good job.
Thank you.
We'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen, with David Knight and the winner of the Paul Revere contest, $100,000 prize. Infowars.com/Paul to see all the amazing entries. The resistance continues.
Now you can watch the Alex Jones Show live as it happens at Infowars.com/show.
You'll find links to all of our content there and a free 15-day trial for Prison Planet TV.
More than 60 movies and documentaries all in one place at Infowars.com/show.
Well, it is the big day, July 31st, 2013, and on the radio show, we announced the winner of the Paul Revere contest, the makers of Purge. And we're going to be getting them on the radio show and nightly news in the next week or so. That's a $100,000 prize to stimulate liberty-minded films and to see basically what was produced out of it and to trying to create a community of liberty-loving filmmakers. And we have been able to do that. It's been very, very successful. But we have Johan de Troyes, who is a filmmaker. I went to film school and has made a lot of amazing films, on with us to talk about his second place winning film that a lot of people thought should have been first place. I mean, it came down to splitting hairs. American Drone, that you can see in full, in high def at Infowars.com/Paul for Paul Revere. And so he is the second place winner for 10,000 Federal Reserve notes, known to the public as dollars. And I tell you, I think American Drone is amazing. Even more powerful, in my view, is The Futurist. And he has one of the same actors in both. And I'm really amazed with his casting, the quality, all of it. And I hope to be able to work with him with InfoWars Films in the future, because that's one big reason we had this contest, was to also find out who can make a powerful film in 2 months. Show that we can make films in 6 months that are full length. Documentary, fiction, I'm open to everything. Try to take every dime coming in here and put it towards film, because in our own analysis we found film, out of everything we've done here over the years, is probably the most effective overall bang for your buck to get people thinking. So we're attempting to really up our game here and work with other people like Johan de Troyes, who's originally from South Africa and has been living up in Toronto since he was 5 years old, and he joins us now via Skype. Thank you for coming on, sir, and congratulations. What did you think overall of the contest itself? And then tell us about your political awakening and how you made these amazing documentaries, or not documentaries, but they look so real, they're like documentaries.
Hey Alex, how's it going? No, you know what, the contest has been such an amazing opportunity. You know, when it's funny, you know, when you talk about American Drone, I got the idea for that movie actually like a week before you announced the contest. And of course, when I heard that you announced the contest, I was like, well, I have to make this film now. There's no reason not to. And it was just such a great opportunity just to get back into the into filmmaking, which is what I love. And it's been such a great experience, and it's been really awesome to see all the other entries out there. It's just amazing to see that you're not alone in this fight. That there's so many people out there with talent that are putting it to good use. And no, it's just been overall a great experience.
One issue is that so many people have contacted us about your film, saying that's exactly what the drone trailers look like. How did you do that?
Well, I went, online and I did my research, and I mean, I don't have a big budget or anything, so we basically made that set as close as I guess we could to being as being correct, right? So it took a while, to narrow it down, but I mean, we've got car seats in there, and those racks were like big server racks, that we bought secondhand somewhere, and spray painted and all that. So yeah, it's just research, and then you just have to build like a human story around this set and all that, right? So yeah.
Other points you'd like to make about the filmmaking process, and then I want to go back to your earlier film, The Futurist, which I just think is so smart, and people that have seen it on our YouTube channel overwhelmingly think it is as good as your other fictional account with this American Drone, but again, it comes off so real. It's just very well done.
Well, thank you very much. Yeah, no, I want to make these movies, since since my political awakening, I guess you could say, right? Because I've been wanting to make movies for a long time, and when I found out about you and the show and your website and everything, and I was just taking in all this information, I thought, this is such great content to make movies about. So that's why last year I made The Futurist. I just want to get this. I just want to get this kind of content out there, right? So, yeah, no. As far as the filmmaking process, I mean, it's not easy to make a film, and I'm sure you know, all the other contestants know that, right? So it's just really hard to make a movie, and 3 months is a very short time, and there's been some amazing entries that you know, were able to actually, you know, finish a movie in 3 months. So many movies that people start making never get finished, right? So
Sure. What were some of your favorites of the 600 plus? I don't know how many you had a chance to watch. It was a labor of love. It was great to be able to see it. It was also grueling for us to go through all the entries, and very thought-provoking. It also gave us a lot of great ideas.
Yeah.
But what are some of your favorite films from the Paul Revere contest?
Well, I mean, you know, obviously, you know, the first place winner, The Purge, was just a great story. You know, there's really good content, and they, you know, it's a real issue that they were able to, you know, it's a story that they were able to tell in a short amount of time, and you know, it was very impactful. I mean, you know, some other ones that were really great were things like Beta Test, and you know, what's the one called? I think it's called Clandestine.
Yes, Clandestine's excellent.
Yeah, some really good
A
special
Dream
effects there.
Revered. I like the
Great
one where they waterboard Piers Morgan and others with Bond water. There's a lot of good comedy.
That's right. I think Michael Moore responded to that, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh yeah, it shut up the Sacramento Bee and then went syndicated in the AP. And Michael
Yeah,
Moore had it
so-
shut down when it had 600,000 views. What a nice guy.
Yeah.
And it's
I know.
obviously
You know
a comedy where they're waterboarding a fat guy with bong water. I mean,
what? It's funny, you know. It's just, you know, like, you know, they can dish it, but they can't take it, you know. And hey, you know what? They brought a lot of attention to it. So hey, I thought it was great. So.
absolutely. What else are you working on? Give us some ideas on other ideas you have for the future.
Well, I've got a few things that I've got written already that I just haven't gotten around to yet. A couple of shorts, working on some features as well. You know, because eventually I want to get into just making feature lengths, movies that actually, you know, that you can see in theaters, right? So a lot of ideas. I don't want to, you know, I don't want to reveal too much at this point, but you know, there's, you know, I got some really interesting ideas.
We're going to see more from you. We're going to be following you. Tell me about the actors that are in your films, because they look just like the drone pilots I've seen on television. I mean, really the casting. But I noticed one guy is in both the films. He's kind of the star of both. Tell us his name and about that fella.
Well, his name is James McDougall. This guy is amazing. He's a force of nature, this guy. And actually, you know, last year when I made The Futurist, you know, like I didn't really know, you know, like any actors that, you know, were, you know, like into your website and, you know, and that kind of content. But I just thought, whatever, I'm just going to make the movie. I held a casting call, you know, I had an audition, and that's where I met James. And he actually just gained, you know, the role because he was the best actor for the job. And I mean, at the time, I didn't really explain anything about, you know, like the actual story that it was about 9/11 and stuff. And when he read the script, he was like on cloud nine, right? So, and then I found out that, you know, he's an info warrior. He's been following Alex Jones for a long time, and you know, he supports Ron Paul, all this stuff. And it was just like a match made in heaven, really. So
Yeah, no, listen, I'm impressed with all of you guys. Here's my big frustration. I spend, well, this year, over 100% of the money coming in. I'm spending savings I had. That's why I expanded things going back about 7 years ago. I suddenly made a bunch of money on some films I made, and I didn't want to just buy a big house. I wanted to fight this corruption, so I expanded my operations. It's been really an experiment. It's been very successful in some ways. Other ways, it's been a big headache and frustrating, but it's a labor of love to really try to do as much as I can and not just limit myself. But now I really want to make a bunch of money, because I have seen all these filmmakers that I know are going to come to us with great ideas, and I want to be able to finance like 10 different groups of people with $100,000, $200,000, which sounds like a lot, but for filmmaking it's not, for those that don't know, to really just make full-length documentaries, action films, dramas. So I hope viewers out there will get PrisonPlanet.tv memberships, will buy the books and videos and T-shirts, and support our sponsors at Infowars.com, because we're maxed out to do things like paying out this $115,000 in prizes, $10,000 to this filmmaker. I hope people understand this is the biggest place where you get bang for your buck and resistance to the globalists and what they're doing. And it's just so exciting. So I look forward to seeing ideas you have, Johan, and ideas that the Purge folks have, and ideas that the folks that made A Dream Revered made. and the great animators, the third place winner, Political Earth. But so many of the other people, I really just want to try to turn them loose and also have a place where we can try to put it in some art house theaters. I know how to do that, know how to give it some promotion, know how to at least